Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I am here with Robin Shimizu. And when Robin's here, we always like to talk about happy, healthy habits with Robin Shimizu. And so Robin has recently become a full-time caregiver for her mother, and she's running several businesses. So she feels your heart right now. Sometimes as life takes place, we get extra assignments that we hadn't planned on. I have a 2-year-old in the building, so if you hear her having a hissy, it's just that age and stage. So with that, we just want to get this party started. How you doing this morning, Robin?
Just grateful to be here, Terry. Thank you for having us. This is such a fun platform.
Well, I just want to say that all is well and that we're excited to have you in the house. Whenever you come, we always learn something new. We learn things about self care and things that are so essential going through the times that we're going through right now and in the future. But let me say, and in the future, because every time is a time. At that rate, Robin, do you have a healthy habit for us today?
Well, today I was thinking that maybe we could just talk about gratitude
Mm,
and
hmm
how if we just list out and journal 3 gratitudes a day, whether it's first thing in the morning or the last thing you do at night, how that is so impactful in terms of your mindset for
hmm
that day and then for the next morning. And so today we're having Lawana Parker with us.
Ah.
Lawana Parker, and I have my little journal
Mm-hmm.
that I have started with Lawana. It's my journaling binder. Um, I guess it's my journaling notebook,
Uh-huh.
and I open it every single time I have to think that I feel like I have to put something down on a piece of paper, whether it's a gratitude or it's
Mm-hmm.
something I need to get off my chest.
Mm.
So it's very, very helpful. And I'm learning this from Lawana. She's our journaling expert. So let me just in, do you want to talk about this a little bit, or should
Well,
I just?
I just want to say this about having an attitude of gratitude, and that is that remember there used to be a little song. Well, there still is, I guess. Count your blessings, name them one by one, see the many blessings and the things God has done, and so just writing them down to remind us because sometimes we can get overwhelmed by what's not happening. And we need to back up and celebrate what is happening and what has already happened so that we can get confidence for what is going to happen. So, with that, let's introduce Lawana. Robin, are you frozen? All righty then. Let me bring Miss Lawana Parker up. Good morning, Lawana. I think
Good,
Robin went out. She'll be back in.
right, good
I, I,
morning.
I
Technology, you have to love it.
You have to love live. When you're live, you think you have it all together.
Mhm.
And I do believe that Robin sent me your information. So I'm just going to read this. If you'll bear with me just a moment. Um, it says Luana Parker is a Amazon International Award winning author. Amen. 4-time best selling author, blogger, speaker, journal coach, and podcaster. Lawana is a journal and creative writing coach. And today she'll share why she became a journal and creative writing coach. Lawana is passionate about reading, teaching, and sharing life's lessons. I love that. She hopes that her experiences will help people journey through life with greater ease. Oh, I love that. Journey through life with greater ease. But I have got to put you in the right position here, Lawana. So don't get dizzy when I move you. Here we go. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
yes, indeed. Luana is a great friend. She she is very modest about the things that she does. She has several businesses that she's running, and in addition to the fact that she is a full-time blogger and writing coach. And so I just want to give the stage to Luana, and Luana, just guide us through whatever you want right now. You're in charge.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And number one, I should have read that intro before I sent it over because we're talking about gratitude today, not how I got into journaling. Uh, I was speaking at another group last night, and that's what they wanted to know. So,
No worries.
anyway, I really like the fact that you were talking about gratitude because gratitude plays a big part in our health as well. If you think about it, each morning, and I don't say as soon as I wake up because I'd be telling a little bit of a white lie there if I did. But as soon as it crosses my mind, I immediately thank God I'm up. It's another day. You know, when I was sick, I was so grateful to God. I mean, I told him, I said, I thank you for all these years you've given me if this is my time. But just remember, we talked about this, and you
Mhm.
said I had 120, and I'm holding you to it. But
Wow.
the truth of the matter is, every day that I wake up, I'm excited and I'm happy, and I am truly grateful that God has allowed me to be a part of another day. Doesn't mean I'll make the whole day, but for the moment that I'm here, I'm truly grateful for it. And I honestly believe when you talk about, you were talking about, you or Robin was speaking about writing three things down. I
Mhm. Mhm.
really encourage that because in those times when you're feeling depressed and you can look at the things that you do have, we tend to forget that.
We do, don't we?
It's like, I want my candy now, not what I
Mhm.
had yesterday. I want new candy now, and where is it? And if I don't have it, I'm not happy. But we have to stop and remember all the great things the Lord has done for us. And I like to remind people from time to time when I'm talking to them and they're talking about COVID and whatnot. And yes, COVID is frightening. I don't know if I had it when I was sick or not. I know I was sick as a dog. I didn't have the respiratory problem, but I had all the
Thank
other
God.
symptoms. And
Mhm.
I just, when I came out of that, I was just so happy. And as I sometimes say, I think the Lord knocked me down on my behind. Actually, so I was stopping listening to him and quit griping about other
Oh my
things,
goodness.
you know, because he gave me journaling and it has been a blessing. And on the 28th, I'm celebrating 1 year of doing journaling, and it's been an exciting trip. So I am grateful for every step along the way because some good things have been happening and I've been growing. And it's wonderful when you have spent a years wondering what it is you should be doing, and all of a sudden it comes to you what you should do.
Wow. Wow. So are you saying that through journaling it helped you identify what your real purpose was and your real um mission in life is?
It helped, excuse me,
Mhm.
through journaling because that never would have crossed my mind to do journaling. That's why
Mhm.
I said it was straight from God. He gave me that when I was sick because that was the only time I stopped complaining about, about the fact that I had no idea what my purpose was, what my passion or anything. Because everybody knows that I love romance stories. Now,
Yes.
if you want to say I have a passion, I have a
Mhm.
passion for reading romance stories,
Oh
okay?
my goodness. Mhm.
But here's what happened with journaling. Writing is something that I've always wanted to do. And I
Mhm.
started in 2020 doing the blog because I didn't know what else to do. And that gave me something to look forward to doing every morning.
Mhm.
And I committed to myself. It started out with a 30-day commitment, journal every day. At the end of that 30 days, I still wanted to write. So I just continued on. And today will be my 540th blog post that's gone up. So
Wow.
I'm truly excited about that. I've stuck to my commitment, but the journaling part not only uh, caused me to, well, I won't say cause, but it did help me stick with the commitment of doing the blog every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it got me to writing. I've already in. I had a book that came out in December. Not mine personally, but a book collaboration that I'm in is called 365 Days of Gratitude.
I love it.
And I got January 2nd because that was the only one that was available at the time that I signed up. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
grateful because it was my son's birthday. So I got to write a little bit about him. And then I entered another one called The Art of Connections.
Ah.
And that one came out last month. So truly exciting. I got involved in two more, and I am currently writing a book. Haven't decided what the title should be yet, but I'm writing, which is one of the things I've always wanted to do. So journaling helped me with the writing. Then I had a few people who reached out to me to do proofreading.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind the proofreading because, again, I'm reading and I'm writing.
Okay.
I get a chance to read what someone has written, and if there usually is grammatical errors that I correct in there, but again, it's all part of the reading and writing process. Uh,
Wow.
and so
Well.
everything that I've done and have been doing this past year, it's just seemed to have elevated me. I've had more opportunities to speak at other people's events.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've had I've had a couple of people who reached out to me from Canada and asked if I could speak at their thing. So
Uh-huh.
it's been exciting. I met a woman from the Philippines. I got to interview her and we become friends. And it's just wonderful the things that has happened. And while COVID has been horrible, it's
Mm-hmm.
also for me been a blessing as well. And I don't mean that as strictly that it's been good for me
Yeah.
because in 2020 I lost 6 members of my family,
Oh my.
and last year I lost another relative. This relative, honestly, I didn't know him. He was the
Mm-hmm.
cousin of a cousin, so
Yeah.
had never really met him. But that was another member of my
Loss.
family that's gone because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it's been horrible, but it's also made me sit back and think and recognize what I wanted to do, and I'm doing it. And I never thought I'd be here a year later, still working with journaling.
Wow. And I'm thinking, that we were talking about gratitude, and with all of that loss, even in the midst of that, it really makes us focus on what we choose to focus on. We can focus on gratitude or we can focus on loss.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you are willing to focus on the fact that you're just grateful to be here,
Mm-hmm.
to see another day is a beautiful thing. And to be able to write that down and share it with others so that we can catch fire with that same gratitude, attitude of gratitude. I'm looking at the chat. Robin says, that's awesome. Luana blogging and journaling for almost 2 years straight. That is phenomenal because I'm telling you, I have not been able to commit to the act of actively journaling. And I can see where it's been healing for a lot of people.
Yes, it has.
And then I think about it and I think, wow, I should be journaling because my grandchildren need to know how I felt during all of this.
It's a wonderful way to leave a legacy for the family. And,
Exactly.
and I really believe that journaling can be your foundation, not only not only for your leaving a legacy behind. But if you've thought about writing a
Mm,
book, it's an excellent way to get started on writing that book that you've often thought about. So many people want to write, and they look at that piece of paper or that screen and they think, what am I gonna say? What should I put on here? Well, it's because I had a few people who have asked me about writing that I've
mhm,
incorporated the writing in with the journaling.
mhm,
That's an area where I can help you get started. And trust me, I have the same problem. I sometimes I'll stare at the screen, or I stare at a piece of paper and don't know what it is that I want to say. But one of the things I learned when I took this creative writing course years ago, I had an instructor who said, if you find yourself not knowing what to write, nothing is coming to you. You can either get up and take a short walk,
mm,
look out the window, see what's going on out there, write about that, or just sit there and say, I can't think of a thing to write about. Actually, write those words. I can't think of a thing to write about. But I'm going to keep writing on this piece of paper until something comes to me and I have some idea where I want to go. Just keep writing. Doesn't have to make sense, because the great thing is you don't have to publish that.
mm,
Nobody's got to see that you had a problem. All
mhm,
they want is when you finish, they get that finished product. And somebody, if you're writing a self-help book, a healing book, somebody who's looking at that is going to see something that they need in order for them to continue on. Because you don't if you don't put your message out there, that person may never get healed. That person could lose their life
yeah,
because they didn't have
I
uh,
see Robin's
that
back in
help.
the studio. Mhm.
Hi, Robin.
Yeah.
and this, and for those, because we always talk about self help and things
Uh-huh.
like that, there are those who may want to write a romance. They may want to write a sci-fi or a mystery or any kind of book. The same thing applies for them as well. There's nothing wrong with writing any of those books. And if that's what you feel like doing, then do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get started. You can perfect it later. You can get an editor to help you make it flow the way you're supposed to flow. I do not profess to be an editor. I'll
Mhm,
proofread, but I'm not an editor. Okay.
mhm.
But
Let me ask you this, one. Have you published a romance novel?
no, I haven't. Surprisingly, I haven't. That,
Because that seems to be what you love to read. So I was just
oh my
wondering if you, since
gosh.
you've read so many, would it not be practical for you to write a romance novel?
My coach told me the same thing, and I'm giving this serious thought about writing one this year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Whether I publish it or not, I don't know, but I am giving some really serious thought about it because it is an area that I have always loved. Um, I think I started when I was about 12 or 13, loving romance stories. Up until then, I was satisfied with children's stories, fairy tales, adventure stories. But then, when we're noticing boys of the opposite sex and you're falling in love with everybody,
Yes.
oh, wow. And that's when I started reading romance. I read a lot of, well, not a lot of science fiction, but I did read some science fiction. I, uh, I think I was in my 20s when I read Dune, Dune,
Mm-hmm.
and that was at the time he had three books, and I read all three of them. And I thought, when I read those books, I thought, is he telling his form of the world?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had a Messiah in there, and that's what made me think about that. Is this? They didn't actually call him a Messiah, but he had all the uh,
Characteristics.
yes, right. And so I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was his way of telling his version of what he thought the world was. Same way with Stranger in a Strange Land.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I would not read any more of his books. I read the one book and I totally turned against it because I felt like he was trying to put Jesus down.
Uh,
He was
mm,
portraying, to me, he was portraying Jesus as um, this person who would do anything, you know,
mm,
at, in a subtle way.
mm-hmm.
Now, those were my interpretations of those two books.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I am really not a science fiction person.
mhm.
I do like mysteries. Like when I was growing up, it was all about Nancy Drew and
Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys.
yeah, no Hardy Boy, exactly, that kind of thing. And I
Mhm.
still enjoy mysteries today, but I do know that in the area of romance, the Hallmark has built an entire channel around it. And I'm saying these are all romance stories.
Yes, they
I'm
are.
I'm not big on romance stories right now, but I do know people who love them.
And I'm one of them. Hallmark is
Lo-
my
Love a happy ending.
exactly happy ending, happy ever after ending. I in fact I have a story I started the other night. It was a little longer than I thought, and so I'm thinking now, I wonder how this is going to turn out. So I
Mm-hmm.
went. This is a digital book, but I went all the way to the end to see if these two people were together. Because if they were not together, I was going to put that
You weren't
story
having it,
down
huh?
and I was not going to read another word.
That is too funny.
Well, I had an author who did that.
Hmm.
She had the hero die at the end of the book. And I'm going, you don't kill off the hero. What's wrong with you, girl?
I don't know. Things have gotten really peculiar. I like my heroes to be pure and I like them to be strong. I guess I'm just old school. I
Yes.
expect them to
You want a
be
man's man, in other words. That's what I like.
well, I want my hero to have character
Mm-hmm.
and integrity.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Whether
believe it or
whether
not,
it's a female hero or a male hero. I just want them to have to be the hero, not to be, just a little bit of this and a shade of
and you're not alone.
good. Because I
I
said
truly
people will change
believe
that
that
much.
most women feel the exact same way. If they didn't, these books wouldn't be so popular.
Ah,
You know, I've even I started reading interracial romance stories too, and it's the same thing. They The
because people are
hero
people.
is the man's man, and the woman, no matter how strong she is, she still likes the idea that that man would protect her when
Correct.
she's in trouble. He's gonna be by her side.
Everybody wants their superhero to be a superhero. Well, now,
Exactly.
Lawana, tell us how we can get started in journaling. Wait, before you do that, I want to share this because Robin sent this over. Let me share my screen. Hold on.
Mhm.
Uh, and let's see. There it is. Can you guys see that? Okay.
That's a work in progress.
This, this is Lawana's blog, so you'll know when you get there. And I'm going to put the link over in the chat so they can find it, Lawana.
Okay.
So we're excited about that.
There's also a link on there for my book on Amazon.
Oh, good.
If you share that, I
I
appreciate that.
will. I am going to
Mhm.
put that in the chat directly. And so tell us how they can get started in journaling with you
Well, that's really easy. There's a link in there to register. In fact, I
on the
have
blog
moved.
or where.
No, this was a link for the actually registering for the journal
Okay.
class. Um, I have a new link because I'm starting over with the one on Mondays at 6 o'clock, and I'm
Uh-huh.
doing a happy hour on Thursdays. But the happy hour is going to be once a month. It's going to be a time for us to celebrate the exciting things that we've been doing as far as the journaling is concerned,
Hmm.
and also for those who are or just want to write a story. It is hard to be a writer sometimes by yourself, but in a
Yes.
group of people who are interested in doing the same thing, It's so much fun. And the great thing is today, we don't even have to leave the house. And if you don't feel like dressing up, you don't have to dress up. You don't even have to show your face if you prefer not to. Just show up. And
Wow.
The
we
one
got
I have a question. Would you repeat? You're still doing the Monday?
right. The Monday is starting back this Monday at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And that link will allow you to register for that. The happy hour, I haven't decided which I'm sorry, which Thursday I want to put it on, but it will be on a Thursday, and I'm thinking the fourth Thursday of the month, which would allow us to celebrate everything we've done all month long. And
Mhm.
at the happy hour writing, you can bring coffee, tea, or something a little stronger if you want. As I say, we're at home. Don't have to worry about harming someone out there in the street. We're just gonna
Mm-hmm.
have fun.
Well, I'm going to still participate in the Monday classes. I don't think I can make the Thursday happy hour, but I mean, it's so helpful, Luana. I
Mhm,
just love it. And I'm not consistent, and I am trying to get more
mhm.
consistent. But yeah, it's
Yeah, well, we would love for you to be consistent, but it's not a requirement
hmm
because we all have we all have life. And today, when we have Zoom, we have the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to participate in so many things that I truly understand when sometimes things come up, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so you do what you have to do. But we're there every Monday, so if you miss this Monday, we can come the following Monday. You don't have to wait a month before getting back into the group. The worst thing in the world is to attend something that's meeting once or twice a month, and it just so happens something happens the same time, and then it's 3 months before you get back. By then, you're thinking, well, maybe I should just drop out, you know? So this way, you have the opportunity to come every Monday if you want. If you're a really prolific writer, someone who really needs to they need that surrounding of others, then this is a great place to be because you'll have people there who are different stages. There'll be people who are just beginning, who've never written before, and there are those who uh, are writing or have written or even been published, but it sometimes helps them when they're sharing with others. Because you're given the opportunity. If you want to share something that you've written, you can. Well, even in journaling, and that's the great thing. They're both writing, and you don't have to share with anyone if you don't want. And as I've said before, the paper or the computer is not going to tell unless you put it out there where everyone can see.
Okay.
Mhm,
Oh my goodness.
so one of the things that I realized when I'm journaling is it it's helps me calm down. Because
mhm,
normally when I'm thinking about journaling, it's because I'm not happy about something and I
mhm,
got to get it off my chest.
mhm,
Mm.
And so I realized that my journal is really private. I mean, it's really something that I'm using more like a sounding board almost, and getting things out on
mhm,
paper and just really looking at what's making me feel the way I feel. And
mhm,
these are things that women don't do um,
mhm.
naturally.
Uh,
Down
No,
low,
you're right in that. Women
feel.
are nurturers.
Mm-hmm.
They take care of everybody around them, and they don't take care of themselves, and that's
mm.
unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
That is
I,
that
I
is
hope
something
this
that I
is.
would like to share with people, the importance of taking care of yourself. And there's a quote, and I can't remember the exact words, but what it amounts to is not being selfish because you're taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually by
Self
doing
care
that,
is not selfish.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and by taking care of yourself, you're able to help other more people, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
because once you're sick, you
I,
can't
I
do anything.
think I think this is a legacy that we can leave to our children.
Mhm,
The legacy of not feeling guilty about self care.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think every generation leaves something for the one before. And hopefully we leave each generation better.
I, yes, oh my gosh. If our foreparents could have foreseen this day, you
They
know,
they would be so excited for us.
I know.
So
I think about my
excited.
granddad who had no electricity. They had kerosene lamps to light the house. We took baths in the kitchen by the stove with the water we had heated on a wood stove that we
Mhm.
primed out of a pump.
Exactly. You primed it out of a pump. You
Hmm.
wash. I can remember being bathed in wash tins in the front yard. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Yeah. All of that, we've come quite a ways, and I'm thankful that these journals will be a legacy to those who come behind us, because it'll probably make our days look like our grandparents' days look to them. They did what? They actually vacuumed? Why are they vacuuming? Why isn't the robot doing that? And look, they're answering the phone. Why isn't the robot doing that? They're cooking. Why isn't, you know what I'm saying? Their world is going to be so much different from ours.
Yes, it
And
will be.
yes, and I hope that these journals will be left as a legacy. So if you're looking to be better at journaling, I put Lawana's contact information up here, Lawana at lawanaspeaks.com, so that if you're interested in becoming a better writer. Also, I put this in the chat for Lawana's blog, so that you can follow her on her blog. Luana, is there another form of contact that you would like us to share? I have several here in your bio.
Yeah. Well, you have my phone number, the 888
You want me
number.
to put that up?
You can. It's okay to share that as
Okay,
well.
I can
But
do that.
anyone who emails me, put in the subject line journaling or writing, something so that I recognize who you are right away. Because sometimes well, let's
Yes,
put it the truth. I get a lot of junk mail.
it can get interesting, can
Oh
it?
my gosh. Hmm. So if
So
I
I'm
see
gonna.
journal or writing in the subject line, I know someone who's interested in what's going on, and I'll immediately go to your email.
Okay, so you want me to put that in the comments along with your phone number?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'll do that. So it'll look like this, Miss Luana, over there in the comments. So,
Great.
guys, if you're
Mhm.
looking to connect with Dr. Parker about how to journal, get it, becoming a part of her journaling experience, you can contact her at this number. We love Luana, and I think you will too.
Thank
Uh,
you. Love you guys too.
and she's a gentle teacher, so don't be scared. Okay. Don't be scared. And it doesn't take that much to get started, just a pencil and a pen, and
Hmm.
an open mind. So with that, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Parker, for your time today. Um, and Robin, we missed you. We know you got kicked out. Sometimes that happens with live broadcasts and the wonderful internet. And so, was there something that you wanted to share or say that you didn't have an opportunity to do?
No, not really. All I wanted to mention, Terry, is that I love hanging out with Terry and Luana, but especially with Terry in the sense that I get to be with her grandma.
Oh.
And with Terry, who has so many words of wisdom from her, from everybody that that loved her growing up.
Mhm.
And I feel like I learned so much from Terry's, just she'll say something and then she'll explain to me how that came about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to write that down.
Thank you.
You, you,
Terry, why
you
aren't
know,
you writing those things
And
down, those pearls
Terry
of
has
I
wisdom?
such
have no idea why I'm not writing these things down, because I'm telling you, I was raised by a grandmother who had 17 siblings. There were 18 of them,
Hmm.
and only two of them, I think there were only two of them were boys. So there were 16 girls, and they were railroad tie cutting, cotton picking women out of
Hmm.
Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, you should be writing that down. That's,
Amazing.
I think that is so awesome for a grandma who shares those kinds of things. I miss that. My
Mm,
mother's mother passed when I was about 8, I believe, and my dad's mom, when we left Texas, I only got to see her twice after that,
mm-hmm.
and so I miss those comforting words, as I call them, uh, the
They're
kind that only a grandma can give to her grandchild.
yeah.
And you should really write those things down.
I,
You-
you know what, you guys, you keep encouraging me to do that. You know what? I think because they're so embedded in me, I take them for granted,
Mhm.
and I assume that everybody has the same information, but I guess they don't.
No.
Wow.
Mhm.
And
Some we have a comment over here. Some Jill says thank everybody. She wants to thank everybody. Thank you for tuning in, Jill, and thank you, Cecilia, for staying with us today. I'm going to have to talk to you about that.
yes.
Well, you should honestly do. That is priceless what you have.
Wow,
Hmm.
I
Maybe
hadn't
just
really.
even dictating it, Terry, when you think
Hmm.
about it, dictated to some, I don't know how electronically you can probably
Hmm.
figure out a way to record yourself
Hmm.
and just start recording as you think, because the meaning behind the saying is what
Hmm.
what I just love. The
That's the story. That's the real
story
story.
behind the
Hmm.
saying
Wow.
and the timing of it. So I'll say something I'm upset about, whatever, and Terry will say something that'll just calm me right down that Terry or her mother or her grandmother would have mentioned to a child. And
Well,
I was
you know,
like, thank you for that.
Hmm.
well, you
And
know
Terry is
something.
good for that. That's very true. But
Yeah.
Terry, I'm going to suggest that you get Otter,
Oh, I
OTTER
have Otter.
AI.
I
Well,
have it.
that way you can record it. You'll have the vocal and you'll have the written
Wow.
portion of it.
I just never really thought of it. I know that when I went through a period of homelessness, I was like, wait a minute. You do not have time to cry about this because you could be doing 18 children in slavery. Maybe you need to get up off this floor and get your act together. So it gives you perspective,
Oh my
Hmm.
goodness.
I guess, to know your history.
Yeah.
Because, compared to what, girl? You,
Yeah,
That's right.
I just got connected with a cousin that I never knew
uh huh.
through Ancestry, and she knew all of my dad's people, and she
Mm,
said, honestly, I know them through my brother because my brother's almost 20 years older than me, so he knew them personally, and he told me the stories. And she was able to send me a picture of my great grandmother on my dad's side that I only remember her. I remember her being this, what I at the time thought was a very beautiful woman who had this smooth complexion and this silver gray hair and wore glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew her name, and I asked my mom a couple of times, and she said, I honestly I don't remember her name. She said
Mm-hmm.
because I was only around her for a few minutes when I met her, but I don't remember what her name was. And
Mm.
my dad, for whatever reason, didn't talk about the family much, and so it was nice to finally get her name and a picture.
Well,
So that.
there is a lot of pain in American history. And so I can see where people would not want to share things
Mhm,
because they don't want to taint your perspective toward the future and have
mhm,
you looking in the rear view mirror. So a lot of that stuff is lost because it's buried in pain,
right.
mhm,
trying to keep people in a positive frame of mind
Right.
mhm,
so that they're not stifled by their history.
Mhm.
So I can see. So but as now that we're here, now that we've
Mhm.
arrived and we want to know,
Mhm.
I can see where that would be really, really precious,
Mhm.
Luana,
mhm.
to have that
Yeah.
picture. And I do have some pictures of my great grandmother, who was an emancipated slave.
Mhm,
And I did know her until I was 12 years old because my grandmother cared for her
mhm,
as she was ailing, her and my great grandfather. So
mhm,
I knew them. So I guess because I knew them, I do have some stories that I can share with my children's children. Wow, that's what, how many generations is, oh my
Yeah.
God, just
Hmm.
talking about it makes me, that's 5 generations.
Yeah, so you need to be
Beautiful.
sharing that because
Yeah,
we start look. I
yeah, we can
understand
let,
that sometimes we don't want to share pain because we don't want people to have to relive that,
mhm,
or
and I don't know a lot about the pain,
yeah.
because they don't
But
share that with
sometimes we need to know about the things that they went through because it helps us to move forward.
Hmm.
like I
Not that
said,
we want to
18
dwell in it.
kids in slavery will make you get up off the floor.
Hmm. Oh my God, there's a article written by Michael Cole. If I remember, I'll send it over to you, to both of you. And it was, he talks about it. Kind of the first sentence is really long because he said, things like, uh, we were, they picked the best of the best, tied them side by side on a boat that took them weeks to get here, made slaves out of them, worked them from sun up to sundown with no pay, had sexual relations, sold their children. I mean, it just went through a whole litany of things. The bottom line was that, and now you want to give up because you couldn't get that car. You didn't get the job that you want, so now you want to
Exactly.
give.
It gives you perspective, doesn't it? It gives you perspective.
Wow.
So I can see why it's so important to journal, and we want to encourage people to journal. Oh, Jill says here, yes, Terry, don't lose that family history. Tell us.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Wow, Jill. Tell us the story. Wow. I may just call it I love to tell the story.
Absolutely.
I love to tell the story.
Sounds like a good title to me.
Mm, sounds like a song.
Hmm.
All right, ladies, I want to thank you so much. I want to say to Robin, we have who coming up next week?
We have Linus
Linus.
visiting us
Okay,
next week.
Oh, okay.
great. This is great. Linus has some great stories too about her family history.
Yes.
You need to
Oh,
get a hold of her, Luana. So with that, we want to encourage everybody to connect with Luana, to tune in next week for Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. Tomorrow we'll be here with the Biz Chicks talking tech and English, talking how to run a profitable business that's fun to run and take the hassle out of your hustle. Remember, it's okay, guys, to be successful.
And to be selfish.
Yes, to be selfish about your self care. Guard your heart, your mind, and your will and your emotions because that's all you got, guys, when it's all said and done. So remember to go to the front of your own line, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye, everyone.